Hello YouTube, this is Let's Talk Horror and welcome back to another video. Okay guys, so today I had to jump on here and talk about the massive news that came out recently that not just one, but two brand new Halloween games are in development, and we are going to jump right into the IGN report that came out announcing this. And so we're going to read that article and then come back here and we will discuss. So let's jump right into the article. And so here is the IGN article. The title of the article is Exclusive: Halloween is getting its own Unreal Engine 5 game with John Carpenter, quote unquote, intimately involved. Evil Dead, the game studio Boss Team Games, are working on two games based on the 1978 horror classic. Now to go into the actual article, it says, two new games based on the 1978 horror classic Halloween are in development at Boss Team Games, IGN can exclusively reveal. While details are limited, both games are apparently being developed in conjunction with the producers of the Halloween franchise. What's more, one of the games is being developed in Unreal Engine 5 and will include input from original director John Carpenter. Quote, as a huge gamer myself, I'm thrilled to help bring Michael Myers to life again in this game, and my hope is to scare you silly, said Carpenter, who will be intimately involved with the development of the new project. According to the official release, the games will allow players to, quote, relive moments from the film and play as classic characters from one of the most iconic and important horror films of all time. The two new games are being developed in association with Compass International Pictures and Further Front, with the Unreal Engine 5 project still early in development. With Halloween now more than 45 years old, there have been few video games based on the legendary slasher franchise. The closest the series has seen to an actual adaptation is 1983's Halloween on the Atari 2600, in which you play as a babysitter, presumably Laurie Strode, trying to find a safe room while being hunted by Michael Myers. The Shape is also one of the many villains to appear in Dead by Daylight, Behavior Interactive's popular multiplayer horror game. And then continuing on with the article, Boss Team Games, for its part, returns to the horror genre after previously working on Evil Dead the game. In our review we wrote, Evil Dead the game is an awesome asymmetrical multiplayer game that, like its source material, is far better than it has any right to be, given its frustrating lack of polish and being somewhat light on maps and modes. And then their statement reads, everyone at Boss Team Games are huge fans of horror, and Halloween obviously holds a special place in the hearts of all horror fans, said Boss Team Games CEO Steve Harris. Getting to work with iconic characters like Michael Myers and build on John Carpenter's original vision is literally a dream come true. Everyone at Boss Team is thrilled and honored to be working with Malik Akkad and John Carpenter to deliver a one-of-a-kind experience that fans of the movie and video games will love. Neither Halloween project has a release date. For more, be sure to check our list of the best horror video games on PC. And there it is, the IGN report. Okay, so let's discuss here. So we don't know much right now. Pretty much the main thing we do know is that not one, but two new Halloween video games are on the way, and I'm excited because the article made a good point. As big of a franchise as Halloween is, it's really unexplored territory as far as Halloween goes when it comes to video games. You know, we only have that Atari 2600 game that I never played. And then we have the Michael Myers DLC in Dead by Daylight, which is pretty fun. Now, if I had to predict, I think one of these games is going to be another one of these asymmetrical horror slasher multiplayer games in the same vein as Dead by Daylight. You know, we've seen Friday the 13th make a game like that. We've seen Evil Dead make a game like that. We've seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space make a game like that. We've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre make a game like that. And I don't want to say I'm not excited, because I would be excited. I would definitely play that game. I would be excited if that came out. But DBD has such a stranglehold on that subgenre of gaming, that asymmetrical slasher multiplayer game. DBD has such a stranglehold, and all those games that tried to take it on, they had their moment in the sun. They were hot for a few weeks or maybe a month, and then they fell off because they didn't have any staying power. You can look up Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. That came out in late May, early June this year, and already it's bleeding players. You can go look at the player counts available online. A lot of the audience for that really abandoned it after about only a month. I looked it up today. So it looks like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is just going to be another one of these asymmetrical multiplayer horror games that tried to take on DBD and failed miserably. And it just feels like DBD has such a stranglehold on that subgenre of gaming and of horror that I don't know if it's going to work. I don't want to see Halloween become another one of these games that just is hot for a few weeks or maybe a month and then it just fades into obscurity. I don't want to see that because that's what happened with all the others. Friday the 13th, I know had the lawsuit issues, but it happened with that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre has maintained some of its audience, I guess, but I was reading online, one of the big complaints with that game is that you have to wait 15 or 20 minutes these days to find a match oftentimes. So I don't want to say I'm not excited, but we've just seen that done. And again, I just feel if they go that route, and they're probably going to go that route, it's probably going to just end up like another one of these games that tried to take on DBD and failed. As far as the second game, I don't know where they're going with that. I was thinking maybe something along the lines of a single player story driven game, like maybe The Quarry is the first thing that came to mind, kind of like a choose your own adventure game. They talked a lot in that article about the original movie, characters from that original film, John Carpenter's original vision. John Carpenter himself is intimately involved. It sounds like they're going to stick mostly to that original movie. Maybe make a direct sequel to that original movie, but that's going to be the focus, that original vision, that original canon from Halloween 1978. And I would love a Halloween, choose your own adventure game in the similar vein of The Quarry, because I played The Quarry a couple of months back. I adored it. And I could definitely see that happening. But yeah, other than that, we don't know what's happening right now, man. There are very, very few details given to this right now, but I'm just happy that a Halloween game is being made because, again, we've seen it with Friday the 13th. There are rumors of another Friday the 13th game coming out. We've seen it with other slasher franchises, and as big of a franchise as Halloween is, it's arguably the most popular slasher franchise of all time. The video game market for it is surprisingly scarce. So I'm just happy we're finally getting that. But Boss Team Games, they have a sparse track record. They've only made Evil Dead the game, which, as I said, was one of those DBD clones that tried to take on DBD and failed miserably. And then I guess they made a Cobra Kai mobile game that I guess got some positive reviews. I don't know how I feel about that, putting these types of projects with a developer that seems so young and so scarce, but we'll see how it goes, man. I'm really happy to hear that Trancas is involved. I'm really happy to hear that John Carpenter is involved. And we even have some promotional work that has already been put out. So I'm beginning to think that that the first one of these games is going to happen and come out, and we're going to see it relatively soon. The second game, the Unreal Engine 5 game, it sounds like is quite a ways away. Yeah, the fact that they are already putting out promotional stuff is pretty telling to me. And how about the Halloween franchise? Holding down the fort for us slasher fans. I don't know what Elm Street is doing. We all know the clusterfuck that Friday the 13th is, but Halloween is, they just got done with a incredibly successful trilogy financially. I know critical opinions were all over the place, but it was incredibly successful financially. And here they come just a few years later with a whole cinematic universe, a TV show, more movies, and now 2 video games. So you gotta love it if you're a horror fan. You gotta love it if you're a slasher fan, because the other slasher franchises are not doing their part, and Halloween is really holding down the fort for us. But okay, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Comment below your thoughts on the Halloween video game and video games coming, and I will see you guys later. Take care.